Here's your problem. You see a video go viral and you automatically think that's it. That's the secret. So you scour social media for hours searching for some viral hack. Meanwhile, your bank account stays stagnant. In this video, I'm going to dismantle the myth of going viral that keeps you trapped and stuck. And instead, I'm going to give you the 4 content pillars that attract high ticket clients that are ready to pay your premium prices. Without further ado, let's get right into it. You see, the disease that you're suffering from is called the vanity metric sickness. You've been conditioned to believe that the more views you get, the more followers you acquire, that somehow that's going to put more money into your pocket. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, this is your reality. You'll have a lot less money. The reason is because you are running on the content treadmill. You are chasing and creating content for the algorithm instead of creating content for your ideal buyer who will ultimately be putting money into your pocket. And let me be honest, the content that goes viral appeals to the lowest common denominator and to the general public. It's usually fights and street fights or people arguing. It's hot takes from political figures or podcasts, or it's just funny, stupid videos of people dancing or doing dumb things. As a business coach selling a high-ticket service, a general audience is your enemy. Your content is not meant for virality. It's meant for one thing, and that is to transform your social profile into a high-converting sales asset. Your content needs to be so surgically designed to only speak to your target demo. That way you prove that you are the sole authority in their space and that you are the one that's going to solve their problem and take them from where they're at now to where they want to go. And the way that you do that is to really understand the pain that they are suffering and struggling with currently, and that you could actually take them to where they want to go, to the destination. So you're really painting that picture very, very clearly, because you're not offering just coaching, right? Anybody could just pay for Zoom calls. You're not paying for Zoom calls. They're not paying for Zoom calls. They're paying for an end result. And that right there is how you sell people on the actual result. You sell them on the things that you can do for them, not just, hey, I offer coaching. Hey, I offer meal plans, or hey, I can take your business to the next level. That's very generic. You take them from where they're at now to where they want to go by offering a very specific solution to them. So Alex Hormozi is a perfect case study when it comes to creating content for the algorithm versus creating niche specific content. You see, not long ago, Alex Hormozi had an idea. He thought the more followers he gets, the more views he can generate. Well, ultimately that right there will drive people to his funnel and provide qualified leads for his sales team and booked appointments on his calendar, and essentially more traffic to acquisition.com, which is his business. But what he quickly realized was the generic content was bringing in the views, it was bringing in the followers, but when he spoke to his sales team, they said, Alex, this is bringing in extremely unqualified leads, people that can't afford your service, people that are just wasting our time. And so they're like, did you change anything? He said, yes, I changed my content strategy. He said, but look at these views. Like, there are a lot of views. And they said, it doesn't equate. It's not an apples to apples comparison. Just because you have a lot of views, just because you get a lot of followers, does not mean that these people are going to ultimately be qualified enough to buy our service or buy our $50,000 package or $10,000 or $20,000 package. So what he did after that was he niched down. And as you can see here, he had a video just 3 weeks ago. I blew up a business through three small changes. That garnered 125,000 views versus this one, the Alex Hormozi diet, which is, pretty generic in terms of like what he eats in a day. And the view count is 6 times the amount of this video right here, this niche specific video. However, this video right here with a lot less views is way more valuable than a generic video that appeals to a broad audience, because a lot of these people are just trying to be like Alex Hormozi as opposed to actually buying something from Alex Hormozi. That is the big difference. So again, what he realized is that the full guides, the content that is quote unquote boring to your average person, brought in way more money into his pocket and way more qualified leads and, just consistent appointments booked for acquisition.com versus more generic content that plummeted his monthly revenue and made him realize that, hey, this is not an apples to apples comparison. Just because you get more views, just because you get more growth on social, does not mean that these people will ultimately buy from you. And that is an eye-opening thing, because there's so many coaches that really don't realize that are still stuck chasing for views, chasing vanity metrics, chasing the algorithm, and they wonder why they're stuck at $15,000 to $30,000 a month and can't scale up from that. So as far as just my experience, I've managed social media for some of the biggest stars on the planet, most notably Mike Tyson. I've managed all of his content. And they're, I've worked with creators big and small. So I've managed creators that have 500,000 views and a lot more niche creators. And what I could tell you is that there are creators that have 1 million followers or, garner 500,000 views or followers, whatever it is. They make a lot less money than niche creators with 20,000 highly qualified followers. So if you have a dietitian with 20,000, highly qualified followers versus a generic influencer, this dietitian is going to make a lot more money, especially once they start selling programs or high ticket or low ticket offers, is because that audience is way more engaged and they're following to get specific content that alleviates their pain points. So they're like, wow, this free content is amazing. I can only imagine what it's like to work one-on-one with this person. And that's how you need to think is, will people ultimately buy from you? And you need to decide, and this is a really sobering decision. It's like, do you want to be rich or do you want to be famous? You can have whatever you want in this life, but you can't have it all. And so you need to decide, do you want to be rich? Meaning, do you want a lower amount of followers and that are highly qualified, that are really niche specific, or do you just want to be famous and have a shit ton of followers and make no money, but you can tell everybody that you have a bunch of followers? So you really need to figure that out. But the worst part when you create this viral content isn't even just the money wasted. It's actually the time wasted, because every hour you spend chasing the algorithm is a direct loss of $10,000. $10,000 meaning the high ticket program that you're selling. That's the value of the client that you could have been talking to if your content was doing its job. You're creating content for the algorithm. You're drained because you have unproductive interactions and unqualified people booking calls with you, and they ultimately tell you that it's too expensive and they have to ask, their wife or whatever it is. They come up with millions of excuses, most commonly probably that they can't afford your service. And that sucks, because that leaves you questioning everything. You're like, why am I doing this? You see, if your growth plan is based on hope, right? Like this viral strategy, this viral content that you want to be creating, you ultimately don't have a business. Because if you're still relying on cold outreach, cold DMing, and that maybe some of your videos will go viral, that is ultimately just hope. And you're hoping that a lottery ticket just completely takes you to the moon. That's not a foundation for a 7-figure future, okay? If you are a 6-figure business coach operator right now, meaning you handle every single aspect of your business, from the sales calls to actually DMing people and doing the cold outreach and cold calling or cold emailing, that right there is not going to take you to 7 figures. The way that you get to 7 figures is by having strategic content that speaks directly to your target ICP. Now imagine this instead. Imagine waking up on Monday morning and seeing just 3 to 5 sales calls booked for the entire week. All of these people are sold on your solution, they can't afford your price, and they're ready to start ASAP. So they're pre-sold, pre-qualified in the sense that they check all the boxes that you want, and your content will ultimately repel the tire kickers, the people that are just going to waste your time, tell you, yeah, I can start in 6 months, a year, 2 years from now. Or maybe they just flat out can't afford your service. So your content weeds all of these people out so that when you take them through the funnel, what you get in the end on the sales call is a qualified lead that converts a lot faster. And even if you convert at a lower rate, at let's say 3 sales calls booked, right? If you have 5 sales calls and you only get 3 of them, that's still 30 grand made during that week for a $10,000 package that you are essentially selling. And especially if you're a coach, anywhere in the $15,000 to $30,000 range, $10,000 is not a crazy amount for you to actually be selling for a high ticket service. And by the way, this is not a fantasy, and I'm not selling you nonsense. This is what a real content system gets you. So right now, I'm going to dive into the 4 pillars that you need to be creating content around in order to generate these high ticket leads and sales ultimately to attract your ideal customer. I call this the Freighter Media Strategic Content System. So it appeals to all parts of the brain of your target demo. The pain, the logic, the trust, and the emotion. So let's get right into it. Number 1 is pain point diagnosis. So this is the content that articulates your ideal client's pain better than they can do themselves. Have you ever had that where you're talking to a friend and you're explaining the situation that you're going through? You're like, man, this breakup sucks, or my life sucks right now. And when you describe it, you're kind of a little bit choppy, right? You're not really articulating it. But what they say in return is they like really understand it, right? Like they really, really, really like what they repeat back to you gives you the sense that they understand the pain that you are going through almost better than you can articulate it. And that right there is what you need to do as a coach and as somebody that's selling a service, right? So you really need to describe their reality And, whether that's their chaotic calendar, whether that's the feast and famine cycle, whether they're like, because they can't get any leads for their business. Maybe that's, them feeling trapped inside of their business. Like that is the one thing that positions you and gives you a massive amount of authority because people believe that you are the person with the cure. And as far as articulating the pain and describing the reality, what that looks like in your content is you're like, hey, look, you don't lose 15 pounds. You're not going to be around to play with your kids. Your knees hurt. Your back hurts. Your joints aren't working the way that they used to. If you don't take some sort of action, then like you're going to be screwed. Like you are literally chopping off years of your life. Say you're helping, business owners get out of being the operator day to day of their, their agency or just of their business. You could explain to them like, look, you are completely burnt out. You're working 15 hours every single day and you're not seeing your kids at all or your family. Like this is going to cause massive distress on your entire family if you don't take massive amounts of action. And that's when you offer the solution. So you see how you articulate their pain and really paint a picture of like how like you're going through this right now. And then you poke on the bruise even more. And that's when you offer your solution and let them know that, hey, look, this is what I can do for you to make sure to take you from where you're at now to where you want to go. So as far as like titling and things that you create content around, it shouldn't be 3 ways to get leads. It should be like, why your 20K months still have you working 12 hours a day in the gym. If you are a fitness business coach, right? Or if you coach agency owners, it's like the real reason your agency feels more like a high stress freelance job. So again, you are creating content based on people's pain points, maybe what they're searching for. However, it shouldn't be, here's 3 leads, okay? No, it's like why you're experiencing this and what to do instead is essentially the way that you want to position it. So pillar 2 is your system and philosophy. So stay with me on this one. This can get a little crazy, but just really, really stay with me on this one. A coach is somebody that sells their time, and a coach is looked at as a commodity. It's like, when people are cutting expenses, they're like, yeah, I don't really need this. Like this is great, but I don't really need this. But when you're selling a system has a highly perceived value to it, where that's a real investment. That's something that people are going to keep because they need the system, whether that's a reoccurring system, maybe that's a one-time installation system, whatever that is. But this system is ultimately what separates you from everybody else. 1, give your system a name, okay? And explain it at a high level of how the system works, okay? High ticket clients, or it's different than low ticket, and the mindset is different. They're not buying just coaching, okay? They buy systems. They buy guaranteed results. So again, this is how you take yourself from a coach to somebody that's going to install something, that somebody that came up and it's almost like patented. Like that's how it feels, where it's like the Freighter Media Client Acquisition System or whatever that system looks like for you. That's mine. So again, you're not just selling coaching. You're not just selling Zoom calls and advice. You are selling a guaranteed result and a system that's going to take them from where they're at now to where they want to go. I'm going to keep repeating that, but that's just my favorite line, okay? So again, if you help fitness coaches get clients, you don't just help them get clients, right? So you install a client pipeline, okay? If you don't just help agency owners scale, you implement the agency autopilot method. You see how that right there feels way more productized than just, we'll jump on a Zoom call every once a week, okay? That right there is a massive, massive difference, and it separates you from everyone else. And you need to explain it very clearly, how your process works, how your system works to your target demographic. So that way, when they jump on a call with you, that way they already know, what to look out for. And that's when you explain it in your content. But again, here's another example, okay? In phase 1, we solve your offer problem, right? So you have something that sells itself. In phase 2, we build the lead generation engine to fill your calendar. And in phase 3, we optimize your sales process so you close at 40% or more. So that right there is a massive difference than, again, selling Zoom calls, selling Google Meets, or just advice, generic advice. This right here is a system that's going to separate you, and it ultimately justifies the expensive price tag that people are going to be paying, okay? Because things are only expensive in the absence of value. And the more that you can articulate your offer as this really special, really almost like once in a lifetime thing for them that completely separates you from the competition, that right there is ultimately going to sell itself. And number 3 is unmistakable proof, okay? Always think about that your client is skeptical, okay? They've heard the pitch, they've heard people try to sell them on things. However, you need to have and show proof of past testimonials, client results, people that went from zero to whatever, basically wherever you're trying to take people from, whether that's $15,000 a month to $100,000 a month. Maybe that's helping, soccer moms lose weight and drop 10 pounds, whatever that is. You just need to share those testimonials and share that consistently. Okay. That way people can understand that you're not just some guy that's out there talking, like everybody else, but you actually have, the meat behind the system that you're ultimately selling. So again, you're selling a system, and then you show the proof of what your system ultimately did for your target demographic and your ideal client. Okay. So these are the client wins. My favorite is honestly showing this on Instagram stories or, creating entire YouTube video case studies about how you've taken someone from where they're at now to ultimately where they want to go. And that way other people can envision themselves and say, you know what? I'm starting exactly where this person is starting, and I want to get to where they get to. And this is the person that I have to work with in order to do that. Okay. Number 4 is the aspirational vision. Okay. So this is the emotion that you create and essentially give people the idea of what it's like to work with you. Like, what are they going to get by working with you? So there's a lot of coaches that take people from zero, right? They have no clients and they want to become a coach, let's say a fitness coach. You need to paint a picture of what their life is going to look like when they hit $10,000 a month with you, $20,000, $30,000 a month. Like, what can they afford? How different will the life be? You need to figure out the pain points, not the pain points. You need to figure out the destination that your target demo wants to get to. Some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated by time freedom, right? Like if you're a business coach and you're selling to other entrepreneurs that are stuck in the everyday monotony, I guess, of their business, and they're handling lower level tasks, you can say to them, like, look, your family wants to spend more time with you, right? Like, what does that look like? What is that going to look like for you to be able to spend another 8 to 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours a week with them, instead of being bogged down by some of the lower level tasks that you can delegate? You see, now it gets their wheels turning and they're imagining a life where they get to spend more time with their kids. This is when you ultimately paint a crystal clear picture of what it's going to be like working with you. You sell them on the result, the final destination, and how beautiful life will be after they implement your system. So you have the system, you have the proof that you've done it for other people, especially if you're a coach watching this right now and you're anywhere between the $15,000 to $30,000 mark. Now you need to paint the picture of the final solution, right? What is life going to be? What is life going to look like after you have that Lamborghini, after you have that Ferrari? Look how great it would be once you could be able to take care of your mother and your father. That right there is massive. Like, whatever your target demographic really, really, really wants, that is what you speak to. And again, people are motivated by different things. Not everybody is motivated by money. So I want you to think about that. So this right here was the 4-pillar content strategy, but it's only 25% of the complete client acquisition machine that we have at Freighter Media. So right now you have 2 paths forward. You can take these ideas on this organic content strategy and go out and do trial and error, experiment, and go out and do it on your own. Or you can have my team and I come in and install this entire system for you. But that's not it. So we won't just hop on a Zoom call or Google Meet and just, give you basic advice. We're going to come in, we'll script the videos for you, script out your content, we'll edit the videos, and then we'll build out the other 3 systems. The high converting VSL, an automated qualifier funnel that basically kicks out and weeds out anybody that's going to waste your time. And then we'll also manage the paid ad engine that fuels everything. If that's interesting to you, we are looking for one partner, an established business coach stuck anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000 a month to be our flagship case study. I want to take one coach's life right now and just completely flip it on its head and give you the most amount of value possible. I want to take you from where you're at now, which is the $15,000 to $30,000 a month mark, where you're relying on cold outreach, you're relying on, cold DMing, LinkedIn messages, and install our proven client acquisition system for you to help you generate $50,000 to $100,000 a month. We will install the system for you at cost. So whatever it costs us to actually produce and run the paid ads, that is the only thing that we will charge you for, and not $1 more. You get a badass client acquisition system and predictable qualified leads every single week. And we, on the other hand, get a really dope flagship case study. So we really want to take you to the next level, and we're extremely passionate about it. We have a dedicated team that is eager and ready to take your business to the next level. If you're interested, click the link below to book a call with me, and I'd love to see if you're a right fit for us. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps with the algorithm, and I'll catch you guys next time. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, I'm actually editing the next one, but while I edit the next one, because this is going to take some time, go check out the latest video that I created on our proven client acquisition system at Freighter Media that we install for business coaches making anywhere from 15 to 30 grand a month that are looking to scale to a consistent 50 to 100 grand plus a month with a proven way of getting clients. So no more cold DMs, no more cold outreach, just a proven way of getting clients consistently on autopilot. So go check that out. I think that you'll really enjoy it. I'll catch you there.